Hey everybody, quick update here. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about risk management in these SPX trades that I've been doing. In a previous video, I talked about how the biggest risk I could see to these trades is the distance between the daily put you're selling and the long leap put you're selling it against as the market rises. So here's what I've decided to do to kind of control that risk and just make things a lot easier, a lot better, a lot safer. What I am doing is the leap that I am selling the daily put against, rolling up the entire position in the same expiration. You know, you can pick whatever you want. When I'm about 300 points out of the money, I sold these at 58, market's up around 6,100 now. I'm going to go ahead and roll them up. So I did this today in my real account, well, and then in the Thinkorswim paper trading account. I had on the 58, 58, 6,200 in the leaps. Yeah, so I was selling against this 5,800 long put. Well, in market's at 6,100, that's getting to be a pretty big gap there. That's more margin, more risk. By risk, the only risk of selling that wide is an unrealized loss that you have to endure if the market sells off. So roll the 58, 58, 62 up to basically at the money. It's 6,100, 6,100, 6,500, and it cost me an 81.50 debit. Now, like I said here in my post on Options Bistro, that roll does a couple of things. It reduces the buying power when due to the narrow gap of the much narrower gap of the put sale spread, and also allows more aggressive daily selling because that gap is a lot narrower and almost non-existent now. So in the big scheme of things, out to 2029, not that big of a price to pay for that adjustment. It won't take long at all to have that paid off. And for tracking of these, which I'm going to do a video on how I track all of this stuff, I will add this 81.50 debit to the original cost basis when I set this position. And that's what I'll use in my long-term tracking for the overall positions. Now, I equate this to owning a rental house. These leaps are the house that you own, and the daily put sales are your rent income. So occasionally, if you ever own rental property, every once in a while, if you own it long enough, you're going to have to eventually do some maintenance on it. So I equate this to new carpet, fresh coat of paint, whatever you want to call it. But you occasionally have to do some maintenance on these and spend some of your rent income. But in the big scheme of things, this is not a big deal. So another thing I was concerned about is what kind of a fill I would get doing these rolls in the leaps, just because there's not as much open interest, not as much volume. But overall, the fill was pretty good. The way I did it was roll the 5,800 puts up to 6,100. Just did that as a roll by itself. That's the big part of the cost. That was a $74 debit. Now the call spreads, I did go ahead and roll those up also, and I didn't have any idea what sort of a fill I would get. But as it turned out, both of these were filled pretty darn close to the mid, if not maybe slightly better. So 74 debit on the put roll up and the 750 debit on the call roll up. This is in the actual account, so there's where the 81.50 debit came from that I talked about here. So overall, pretty happy with that. And as the market goes up, this allows you to stay in the position as long as you want, if not forever. So we'll go with that and see how it works out. But I'm pretty excited about this risk adjustment. All right, everybody, take care.